rocking. I try to let a few doors walk, but if that freezer runs low, I gotta stock it. These scrub bugs got no mask, darn sure no drop times, but this chili has deer burger in it tonight.
Where did this podcast go? Straight to hell. Yeah, speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool.
Okay. Full more hunt, you live it, you breathe it.
This East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind.
It's a whole different world.
I just want to get the realest people possible in the industry.
The point where it is now, where it's insane.
There's nothing forced. It's all fucking natural.
Happy New Year, my fellow Slayers. This is the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. Come have a seat here in Slayer Studio in Coventry, Connecticut, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. I'm your boy D-Rock, here with my boys,
Trev, Ryan,
as we follow the blood trail to a successful deer season with Ethan O'Leary going on a slaughter. Today's episode is brought to you by Shabeen Brewing, CT's finest craft beer out of Wolcott, Connecticut, the Hunter's Beer.
Shabeen.
100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music known worldwide. Find them in www.shopshogun.com. Trev's Euros for all your Euro mount needs on Facebook. CT Bowhunting, CT's #1 source for bow hunters. Download their app for free to experience the judge-free social platform. Also brought to you by Nor'easter Game Calls. Get them in close for all your game call needs. Find them at www.nor'eastergamecalls.com. There's something a little special out there. I think you need to scroll down to the grunt calls once you visit that website, and you'll find a nice little surprise. We'll get into that later.
Uh-oh.
This show is presented by the Working Class Bow Hunter. Not just a podcast, but the brand in the hunting industry. The East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. Let's kick off this new year right. What's up, fellas?
What's up, D-Rock? D-Rock, what up?
What's going on, Mark? You're here with us too, word?
Yeah, I'm sitting right here listening in.
That's awesome. Happy New Year, fellas.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
This is going to be one for the books, I think. We have a lot to talk about. I mean, you're appearing on the show once again, and we're going to start the new year right. What do you got for us, Mark? For the new listeners out there, talk to us. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you got to offer.
All right, well, I'm Mark Buzzell. I own Nor'easter Game Calls. Basically, it's a company that makes custom game calls for the average man, the working class guy, so that he can afford a call. They're all done one at a time, turned on the lathe, and all tuned one at a time. And it's pretty much, if you hunt it, I make a call for it. And I try to keep them a little different than everybody else's calls so that they're not just a generic piece of maple, turned into something. They're all a little bit different. If you go on the website, you'll see the variety of things. And, of course, for people that are just tuning in, we've been talking about this blood series for a while. That came to tuition when I was down at camp and brought a goose call with me that was made out of cholla cactus with an aluminite resin poured into the call. And you and I were just kind of chatting about, wouldn't it be neat if we could make a grunt call and make it look like blood was coming out of the call. And that's kind of where you and I hashed back and forth and drummed up some ideas on what to do. And then I came back to the shop and started working on it. And it took a while to get it to this point, but they're ready to be released. They're on the website now. And what they are, they're adjustable grunt calls. So when you're hunting in the tree stand and you've got to use your grunt call, most calls you have to take them apart to adjust the tone. From a swamp buck to a doe bleed or something in between a young buck, you've got to slide a rubber band back and forth. On these calls, there's a brass slider that you can just push with your thumb or pull it with your finger, either way, and you can adjust it immediately from a big buck grunt to a doe bleed. And they're all made out of a cholla cactus with aluminite blood red resin, and we've all given them, different names and so forth, and you and I and the guys have talked about different things to call them as the colors change in the calls from, liver shot, heart shot, lung shot. It's all pretty cool, and again, they're all one of a kinds. Each one of them has been hand tuned by me, and again, I appreciate working with you guys on it, and especially you coming up with the idea with me to do something that's different, that's exclusive to East Coast bow hunting.
Yeah.
There's going to be a limited run. I'm not going to make a pile of them. So once they're gone, they're gone. They have my Nor'easter logo on the grunt tube, and it also has the East Coast bow hunter logo right on the muffler itself.
That's badass.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. I'm pumped.
Mark,
Yeah.
I need some help.
Guess what he did, Mark? He tried to take his grunt call apart again. The guy cannot take a call apart without needing help. Mark, help him out.
He truly, he just got fat farmer hands, I guess.
You know how we are, man. We're like little kids, always tinkering with shit.
Yeah.
Most of the time, fucking shit up. But
Yeah, well, don't play with the custom call after you've had a 6-pack.
too late.
No. Especially a 6-pack of Shabine.
Well, Mark, it was day 1 at deer camp. You just gave us these calls. 5 minutes later, Trevor's handing it to you and going, Mark, I don't know what to do. And you're putting everything back together for him. So,
No, he's got to learn on those slides. I do recommend putting just a small drop of gun oil on the slide itself.
Yeah.
And that way there, you won't bend it all up like Trevor did and look like a little 3-year-old in the sandbox.
Trev's bloopers.
It's been a while.
That's
been a long time.
I can't wait till next year for deer camp.
I know,
man. Deer
man.
camp's gonna be badass.
We were just talking about that. I got to put my time in. I can put my time in starting Monday. Put my time in for next year for deer camp.
I'll tell you what, man. And after Mark saying what he was saying the other day, and that that it was such a successful season, and our season's coming to an end. It just ended in the regular zone. So, being that it's New Year's,
I got something up my sleeve for us though, boys.
Yeah, I have something up the sleeve too. But I mean,
I don't know
Mark,
anything about this yet.
He posted about how it was a successful season and meeting us and everything that we've done together, and can't wait until deer camp next year.
That was a badass pick too.
It was, and that was the tree where he took the shot at that big deer, right, Mark?
You're right. You know exactly where I was sitting.
Yep.
Oh, I've sat that stand.
And it was actually, that picture was taken the day of me missing that deer.
Wow. Oh, really?
When I got in that tree, I took a picture of myself in the tree, to get ready to put it on, Instagram or a little social media. And that's the one photo I have of sitting in that tree that first day you sent me in there. And that's why I mentioned, I may not have tagged out, but I did much better than that by, meeting you guys, hooking up with East Coast bow hunting, and, sitting around the fire in the camp and just shooting the shit. And, again, we came up with this idea of doing a limited series.
Coming up with your Bitmoji?
Yeah. He uses that thing 24 hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
And you know what, Mark? That chocolate horn buck will be there next year.
Yeah, he made the season. He finally made the season. So.
Unless Trev and I take him during early bow season before you guys get there, he'll be there still.
Don't sleep on the Mexican, because I'd be creeping.
At least he'll be out there breeding, so there'll be plenty of his genes in that woods.
Oh yeah.
So regardless if he makes it or not, he's already bred all the does. So we're gonna have some nice bucks. Again, he was a nice buck. So I'm sure there'll be more in there for sure. And like I said in the post, I mean, you guys put us on the meat. I mean, that's why Ethan was being a slayer down there and up here. So, it wasn't like I didn't see anything. I saw plenty of deer, walking and jumping them and seeing them at, 45 yards and, just, again, sitting with Trevor in the
comfort zone, right?
Just seeing deer, but just nothing that I was comfortable with.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. It's not like that it was a bad season. We saw plenty of deer, especially in deer camp. The 2 weeks that we were definitely there, and the 2 different times, the early season, the rut, the so on and so forth. But I mean, it was fun. We saw a ton of deer, and it was a meaningful and the collaboration of meeting and hanging out and hunting with you and the stories and the times. I mean, it made a very successful season. The Shabine, right? and coming up with everything that we have and the partnership that we have. I'm going into that. How do we go about getting these grunt calls? Just one more time for everybody.
Oh, just basically me bringing that goose call down to camp. That was a cholla cactus soaked in aluminite resin. Again, it's just a stellar looking call. And the D-Rock happened to have kind of inspect it, and myself, and we were just kind of chatting, and somehow we got on the subject of making a grunt call in cholla cactus, which I had planned on doing. And then I think he brought up the fact that wouldn't it be cool to do it in red or blood, and then we both kind of hinged on the same thing. We're both headed down the same path, talking about how it'd be cool to make the blood just kind of running out of the call.
So how do we get that? How did these our listeners end up with this call?
For this limited edition call.
Yeah, right now the only way to get them is you'll have to go on to the www.northeastergamecalls.com, just select grunt calls, and they'll show right up. They're labeled ECB Blood Series grunt calls, and I think there's 8 of them on there right now. There's a few more that are still waiting to go on, and that's going to be the end of them.
And you have some on reserve already, right? I mean, they're so hot.
Yep. No, we reserved 7 or 8 of them already. So, I can barely keep up with it, and that's why I mentioned that we're going to do it as a limited series, so that we don't get hung up on it and have to make 50 or 100 of them, because it's just me making them, and that'd be a little boring.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because earlier we already had people calling in wanting dibs and kind of reserved theirs, that you actually tonight we're on it tonight, getting some more out and pushing them out, huh?
Absolutely. I did a couple blanks last night, got them soaking and get them hardened up, and I got 3 turned out, 2 more to do, and then we'll have to pour a few more blocks, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Like I said, it'll definitely be a limited run. I don't dare put a number on it, but I can guarantee it's not going to be 50. It's going to be a lot less than that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just excited, man. They look great. And the best part about it is that on our Snapchat, the East Coast Bowhunting Snapchat, you actually, and for all the listeners out there, you're more than welcome to just hit us up and we'll add you on hands down right away. So this way you could experience everything that's going on day to day with the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, as well as Nor'easter Game Calls. And what was really cool, what I'm getting at, is you had the play-by-play, so to speak, step by step.
I tried to keep you involved in it just so you get an idea what's going on. And when I get a little more technology in here, I'd love to have a little GoPro or something, because Snapchat, it's kind of a little bit of an issue to hold down on the button to record a video and only have one hand free to do something on the lathe. So you're kind of stuck there, other than doing a regular video on the phone and then adding it in. But it was fun to show you that, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we had the dye. Here's the resin. Now we're pouring the blocks. Now it's going in the pressure pot. So, it kind of gives you an idea of the step-by-step process of what it takes to do it.
Even down to the lathe. Like, I'm just fascinated by everything. And it was just really, really comfortable to see, because I'm sure everyone has a ton of questions for us, and we can't really relay the information. And then I'm sure even more people are hitting you up, like, what's going on with this or that, but you're actually showing them. So that's really, really cool that you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. It does give them a little more of an insight of, it's not from, just a piece of stabilized cholla cactus, and then from there, square block of acrylic so that it looks kind of like blood, and just a square block, and then you throw it on the lathe and start turning, and that's when it really comes to life. And that's why each one of them is different, because I don't make 2 of the same. They've all got different grooves, or they're cut differently, or shaped differently, and some have really dark blood showing up, and others have more of a pinkish, lung shot blood, and some have a mix of both. And then I've been kind of manipulating the cactus as well, cutting small voids in it so that we can get more of that blood color in the cactus.
Oh yeah.
After we're done with this, I'm going to share more of the how-tos, like you were talking about, to the Facebook and the Instagram, and just kind of show everybody, now that we're having the release of it, that they can go to Nor'eastern Game Calls. So you guys can all check that out right there on our social platforms and see exactly what's going on and what Mark's been doing and the hard work. And we have something else up our sleeve coming up for the spring also.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Before we touch on that, let's get off of business for a second, and we'll come back to it real quick. How was your Christmas, Mark?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I ended up becoming a grandpa just before Christmas, so that was kind of fun.
Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really am the old man in the woods now.
Yeah. I know you get to come and hang out with all us young guys.
Yeah. And that's why I picked the tree stands that are closest to the road.
Just in case, right? That's
exactly.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah. But no, it was a great Christmas, becoming a grandpa for the first time, and having a little granddaughter. So, that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's what we pretty much spent our money on, the granddaughter, and we have some neighbors across the street with a little fella as well that we adore. So we spoil him as well.
Nice. We got little bow hunters in the making as we speak.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to show them deer camp.
That's rated R, so they might have to wait till they're 18.
No, I'm saying, but we'll bring them down and
Yeah. We'll have to be PG for that for those weeks.
Well, I'm sure we can pull it off. If we have some little hunters that want to learn, I'm sure we can behave ourselves.
That's
yeah.
right.
And without a doubt.
And that's the truth. And that's really what it's about. You know, is the younger generation, and especially coming into the new year, just get out there and help the younger generation get back into this and get into it. The older generation even too. I mean, look at you, Mark. We got you back into bow hunting now, did we?
Absolutely. I mean, I started in 1987. I gave it up in like 90 or 93 somewhere in there. I think 93, and was unsuccessful back then too with my big fast Martin warthog that I had. Seemed like everything I shot at, I was able to duck the string and catch the arrow and throw it back at me. So I just kind of gave up on it. And then Ethan was out just killing everything and walking. So he decided, you should get a bow. And then Trevor was coaxing me to come down with you guys, and finally took you up on the offer to come down and hunt with you. I mean, you guys are gracious enough to invite us into your family and into your hunting area. So, yeah, I went and spent the big bucks and got a bow and the equipment and practiced, and got very comfortable at, 30 to 40 yards. So, I was ready to get it done. It just didn't happen the way I wanted it to.
Right.
You saw the buck of a lifetime in your first sit in Connecticut.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got spoiled right off the bat, and then, at least I proved I can blow a bow up.
Yeah. Oh, we know you're good at that. We won't let you pass that.
Hey, that's why we're here, though. New and old hunters, trying to get them back in the woods, and that's what it's about. This way, we're all there together, learning experience, and we help each other out when we can. That's badass, man. But
yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, being a rifle hunter for all those years, of switching back over to bow and realizing, all right, now it's time to get my cover sent out. It's time to get the doe pee out, which I carry on the website as well. And really start hiding myself because, I got to get them within, 30 to 40 yards, not 200. And it made a big difference. I mean, you got to be much quieter. You got to make sure your scent is covered. I can't sit there and smoke a cigarette in the tree, so you pretty much, it's another whole realm again where your head is on a swivel so much more when you're bow hunting than every little movement you're watching compared to watching for something at 150 or 200 yards. Big difference.
Absolutely, and going back to that, I mean the scent eliminator, Garrett Benner from the Modern Assassin, he did that test with those and so on and so forth. But those are going to be on the website also, Mark?
They are right now. Yep, they're all loaded up. I got a new scent started. It's going to be earth scent. It basically smells like wet dirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, perfect.
It's the same exact scent. It's just got a little additive in it to make it smell like wet dirt.
That's nice. And the most important part that I love about your scents and sprays, that actually Garrett, the Modern Assassin, shout out to him, he put it through the test, was it leaves no marks on your equipment, no white marks on your equipment, right?
No, it doesn't. A lot of that's from just changing the formula. If you have one that's constantly doing that, what happens is they're just putting a little too much of one or two ingredients in it, so that when the water evaporates, you end up with that left over, and it leaves a white stain on your camera equipment, on your bow, on your quiver. It's really a mess. Mine does not. You can put it on your clothes, you can put it on anything, and it's kind of like he was saying in his statement. He really thought it was water until he tested it.
Right.
And, he gave it a test that I've never done before, but, spraying it on top of doe pee, which that's the ultimate test, and, he was happy with how it works.
Absolutely, Mark. And, I want to point out that, I upgraded my bow setup. I got the nice HHA sight this year, put on my Elite bow, and I always try to go in and I spray down my stuff. And with that finish on the HHA, it's a beautiful black matte finish. And I was starting to notice this year that whatever spray I used, a dead downwinded scent killer, it was just leaving white all over it. And it was just bothering me. I was sitting in my stand, I got my bow in the bow holder in front of me, and I could just see it. And it was just bothering me because there's something in there that's causing that reaction to stick to your product. But
Yep.
Your scents just do not do that. It's all 100% natural. There's no residue left behind, and it's going to get the job done. It's wonderful stuff. It's awesome.
It is, yeah. And like I said, the doe pee that I have, for the doe estrus, trail maker, scrape maker, all that stuff is handy to have. It covers up your scent, and, you start dropping that stuff on your boots on your way in or spray it every now and then. It's going to give the deer a lot more confidence to walk in on you than to just come in blindly and then possibly smell a human.
For sure.
It can be a lot easier to use that stuff. And again, it's in a little spray bottle, which makes it really handy.
Nice. Hell yeah. And it fits right in your pack perfect.
Yeah.
But
It does, absolutely.
But what I want to transition to, actually, Mark, is something that we touched on last episode that we'll dance around real quick, but we won't stay on the subject because I know it's a sensitive subject right now, only because we don't want to give it away because you're working on making this a bigger thing that the hunting industry needs. And it's something trophy related, so this way you can remember your hunts a certain way, and it'll be definitely cost effective. Can you dance around that subject a bit for us?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I was trying to get everybody involved, not just bow hunters, but regular hunters, from bird hunters, deer hunters with rifle, shotgun. I don't care what it is, and finding a way for me to preserve that memory for you, be it an empty shell, the arrow, and we've found a way to do that. And I'm just slowly perfecting the process, and also going to take it a little further and probably head down the provisional patent route, so that once it comes out, which I'm thinking it shouldn't be long, hopefully within the month, and then we've got videos, and you guys have seen what it is 100%, so you'll...
They're badass. I can't wait.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
Everybody's been excited that we have brought into the circle to see what we're actually doing, and I think it's going to blow a lot of people's minds that they can actually have a trophy for... I'm guessing we're going to be like in the $85 range to preserve something for a lifetime.
That's badass.
And you know what, Mark? When I first saw the picture of it that Trevor showed me, it blew my mind. It is something that's just incredible. I never would have thought of it. It is just awesome. So great freaking job with that.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I think it's definitely needed in the industry where you're either paying $500 to have a head mounted, and you don't want to mount a doe. I mean, you can. I mean, people do, but it's still very expensive. And if I can keep you under, like I said, $85, and if you want it laser engraved with where, when, and what, we can do that for like another $25. So, I mean, you're going to be out of it cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So let's transition out of there because I know it's a sensitive subject, and we want to keep on teasing our listeners. This way, I think we're up to what, maybe 153 listeners now, something like that.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
But,
we're climbing.
We're just trying to stay humble because we have a lot of great supporters up and down the coast, man. It's unbelievable how you, the people out there, make it possible, and that's what drives us, man. We really love you for sure.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I agree with you, and I mentioned to you the other day that every time I do a podcast with you, stuff leaves the website. So they are listening, they are understanding, they're going on the site, they're picking out calls. The other day was New Hampshire, and then the next day was Missouri.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
So, like I said, it's pretty cool to see that the going on with you guys with East Coast bow hunting is definitely bumping the sales up on the website without a doubt.
We're spreading like CWD almost, right?
Exactly.
Like speaking of, and us, you saying what you just said, thanking us for everything. We want to thank you because our giveaways for the month of December, our Christmas giveaways, they were all brought to you by Nor'easter Game Calls. I don't know if we've touched on this or so on and so forth, but when Mark came down and Mark spent the time with us, Mark gave us a box, and in that box, there was thousands of dollars in merchandise, knives, compasses, lights, you name it. He gave it to us, and he brought it to all of you from the kindness of his heart. And the things that he did were I can't thank him enough for everything that he did to make those giveaways so possible, so that we could bring it out to you guys. And that was out of the kindness of his heart that he did to spread the love across the community here. So I can't thank you enough, Mark.
Yeah, you're a good
really,
dude.
honestly, man, thank you so much. I don't think we give you enough.
Welcome.
Absolutely, Mark.
It was a great idea and a great way to reward the listeners for listening as well, and it just gets things moving, and I enjoyed doing it.
Oh yeah, thank you again, man.
Thank you, Mark.
So before we wrap it up, man, and we appreciate everything that you do, especially the ECB Blood Series grunt calls, which I'm so stoked about. I can't wait to get mine. We're gonna actually see you in the future because your future goals on the upcoming. I mean, it's still deer season. It's still deer season. This is the last night of deer season on state land in Connecticut.
Yep.
But turkey season's right around the corner, and I'm sure we're going to see ECB Blood Series in the turkey field too, maybe?
I think so. I mean, you and I are going to kind of talk that over a little bit. I'm kind of playing with it a little bit. I put one online tonight that's I started of the thin bloodline, which is a smaller turkey call, very thin, no soundboard, using a different size piece of slate so that it gives all the sound. And I think you and I are going to talk about that and see what we want to mix in with it and make it out of to, again, make another limited run for the East Coast Bow Hunting Blood Series turkey pot call.
That's gonna be dope.
I'm in. Are you going to do slate tops? What's the game plan? Because I know.
I can do slate, copper, crystal, blasted glass, aluminum. I mean, whatever you want for surface. But
Mexican silver?
Anything you want.
I've got to make them and test them because this is something new for me as well. With this acrylic, it handles sound differently. So I may not be able to use copper. I may not be able to use a certain one where no matter what you do, it just doesn't sound right. Right now, the slate is working perfect. My next run will be I'll glue one in and see how we do with probably blasted aluminum, and then we'll take it the next step and go from there with it.
Hell yeah. We were actually talking about that. That's what makes a call. And that's what makes your custom call so special is because of the simple fact that you're out there listening while you scout, listening to these animals and making sure that you can replicate the same exact sound.
Exactly. And with the pot calls, once you practice with them for 30 minutes, if you've never even tried one, you can be very proficient with it. It just takes about a half hour's worth of your time to get it. They're just easy to use. I like them. I really do. It's easy to do the purrs and the clocks. And like I said, with me, I've got recipes where, if I use Coca-Cola wood, I know to use a glass soundboard or use this side so that we get the right sound. So it's going to be a little bit of a trial run to get them out there. And once they're there, we'll have a album on the website so that people can take them out in the turkey field.
Speaking of sound, what is that sound?
That sounds familiar.
What is it? I think it's the PornStar Whitetail Report.
Good evening, ECB listeners. Here we are again with our weekly whitetail forecast. This is the last day of the Connecticut hunting for zones 1 through 10. We still have one more month for our southern zones 11 and 12. If you're fortunate enough to have some private land, even some state land down there, that's our baiting zone. Got a huge population. You can still hunt those. Trevor, we got another month, January 31st, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Zones 11 and 12
Zones
private
11
land.
and 12. We can still be hunting there until January 31st. But we're still bringing you that weekly whitetail forecast by Ryan the PornStar. It's been an absolutely warm and miserable week, actually, from you guys. It's been 40s, and today it was 50 degrees this past week.
But windy, though.
Windy, 50 degrees. It's been like it's opening day of bow season, September kind of weather. But finally, we're cooling off tomorrow with a little bit of a, quote, cold front, if you can consider that in, this January here. We're moving into Wednesday. We're going to be dropping down to the daytime temps in the 30. Again, that's not nothing for January. That's not the kind of weather we like to hunt in. But you know what? The deer are still going to be moving.
We might have to ship down south a little bit.
That's it.
Continue
of course,
to hunt into February.
Absolutely. Of course, come January 1st, we're going to be down south. But we're going to be in the 30s, and we've got another rainstorm front moving in on Friday. For you moon faith hunters, we are working towards our new moon coming this Saturday. This week is going to be big for you hunters that can still be out there. We got a new moon, so it's going to be a big week. For you moon position hunters, again, it's going to be a big week altogether. For you moon position hunters, your temperature hunters with a little bit of a cold front moving in, and we got that new moon coming as well. All week long, we're looking at a predominant overhead moon. For today itself, the peak overhead was at 7:30 this morning. So you're looking at those morning hunts. You're looking at that morning time, getting there nice and early. And we're looking at about a noon 30. Yeah, 12:30, noon 30.
Something like that, yeah.
Absolutely. For Sunday, January 6th. So get in there bright and early. Commit to that all day. Crunch time sit. Put down the last minute trophy buck or get that next deer back in the freezer. So get out there, guys. Get in there first thing in the morning. We've got a predominant overhead moon first thing in the morning. We've got the new moon coming this week. Get back out there and keep sitting.
Keep slaying. And it's all day sits are back.
All day sits.
All day sits are back. And before we say goodbye to Mark, thank you again for coming on and announcing the ECB Blood Series grunt calls, fully custom grunt calls available to the public, which is astounding in itself because not many stuff like that, related to specific podcasts and stuff like that is available. We're making it available to the public. It's very limited, so jump on it now. It's posted online. So
NortheasternGameCalls.com.
Check them
Absolutely.
out. Check them out.
There's a few of them left on there for people to grab.
Hell yeah. and they're going hot.
And Mark, if those ones sell out, do you have a waiting list for a little bit more, or can they get a hold of you? What's the game plan on that?
Right now, if we run out, I mean, they can certainly email me if they want. Right on that Nor'easter Game Calls website, there's a place where it says contact us, so they can get a hold of me that way. That'd be probably the easiest way. And then, like I said, we're going to keep it to a limited run. So if they drag their feet too much, there's not much I can do. But
they're going to have to get a regular. They're going to have to get a regular Nor'easter, and they're just not going to get the Blood Series.
That's right.
You
yeah,
can
like
still
I said,
get them.
I've got another 5 that I'm turning out now.
But those are nice too, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course they are.
Yep.
They're no Blood Series.
I'm guessing there might be another 10 or so that are going to be available on the website, and that's going to be probably about it. So, like I said, if you drag your feet, you're probably going to miss it. But if you do have to contact me, there is a contact me button right on there. They can send me an email and ask me a question. They can use my email address as well, which is Bassin31, BASSIN 31 at AOL.com. They
Damn,
can just put
you-
in the,
AOL.
Damn.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah. we got him up on the bid emoji. Let's get him up on the email.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Let's get some Gmail
Hey,
going on,
I got
Mark.
that when I was 31 years old. I'm 53. Do the math.
Damn,
Yeah.
son.
You had that DSL dial-up, bro.
Yeah, exactly. When you keep it up, I'll just keep bit emoji you to death.
On that note, our WCB giveaway, the winner is Kathleen Boisvert out of Maine, Mark.
Out of Maine.
Wow,
This,
no kidding.
yeah, this lady out here, she actually was very clever and submitted to us right away, and she's the winner of the WCB giveaway, straight out of
That's
Maine. Kathleen Boisvert, we'll shoot you out some DMs and make sure you get in contact with us so you get the Hang and Bang T-shirt, a couple knives. One's a collector's item. One you could use. It's a fixed knife sheath. A few Shabine stickers. I mean, it's one of our best giveaways for sure. So straight out of Maine, Kathleen Boisvert, congratulations. Mark Buzzell, Nor'easter Game Calls. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you guys for everything.
Hey, Mark. Stay stepping.
Stay slaying.
Yeah, it's that time. It's that time. We have Ethan O'Leary, the Maine mass murderer, on the phone right now. He's joined Slayer Studio, and he was on a deer season slaughter. Ethan O'Leary, what's up, man? What's going on, my boy?
How's it going, guys?
It's going awesome, man.
It's going, Ethan.
What's up, Ethan? How you been, buddy?
Working, trying to do some hunting. Deer season's just wound down here about 2 weeks ago, so kind of switching modes over to trying to get some coyotes and doing some rabbit hunting.
So that boss man got you working hard, huh?
If you only knew.
I saw you got a rabbit the other day.
Yeah, I went out. I shot 3 rabbits. One day and then 2 the next. I went out Christmas Day as well. It was pretty easy up here. I mean, rabbits are all white, and we had no snow, so you can imagine.
Hey, Ethan, cheers to that harvest.
Shabine.
Now, tell us about those. You're shooting white rabbit. Are those the white hairs? Is because they're turning white because of the season, or what are you shooting up there?
Yeah, so I mean, rabbits here, we have snowshoe hares. They turn all white in the winter. We had quite a bit of snow on the ground, a little over a foot, and then we had 3 inches of rain come in right around Christmas, wiped all of our snow out, and now the rabbits are still white and everything's brown. So it was pretty easy.
Man.
Actually, now that you're talking about that, why don't you let us know who Ethan O'Leary is, where you're from, and where we can find you?
Sure. So obviously my name is Ethan O'Leary. I'm located out of central Maine. Just a normal guy like the rest of you. I not trying to steal anybody's thunder. I'm just a working class hunter.
Hell yeah. I like that reference too. You're a clever fella.
I mean, like I said, I bow hunt, I rifle hunt. I mean, I do use shotgun, but that's only for small game. There's really no point to shotgun hunt for deer up here. I got into hunting when I was about 10 years old. My dad was a big-time hunter, always hunted with a rifle. So that's how I started out. I would love to say I, tracked the trophies and monster bucks down. My toughest thing is there's not a lot of deer up here to go around. So growing up, you learn that if you saw a deer and it was legal to shoot, we shot it. I have a hard time passing up any animal when it comes to that because, I am a working class guy. I only can hunt a couple days here and there. Other than that, I work on appliances every day. I know that sounds like a funny gig, but it allows me to have some free time to go out and hunt and fish, especially on the weekends. My wife and I love to get out in the outdoors. We spend a lot of time. I bird hunt a lot. I've got a German short-haired pointer. I take him out pretty much every night after work come fall season. Other than trying to bow hunt, which kind of gets in the way of everything up here. Bird hunting and bow hunting for deer is a cross season. It's run at the same time. So it makes it tough. Other than that, I'm just a normal guy that likes to hunt every chance he can get. This year I had a really good bumper crop. Best hunting season for deer I've ever had.
Hell yeah. Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats, brother.
Congrats. And you killed a pieball here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's fucking stellar.
He wasn't really the trophy that any of you guys would probably say, but it was neat. It was my first Connecticut deer. It just happened he was a pieball, so that was really cool.
And he had some horns on him, right?
Yeah, he had some whopping 3.5-inch spikes on
Hell
him.
yeah, that's all
But you
right.
know what? A trophy's a trophy, man. And it was your
Absolutely.
first
Hell
Connecticut
yeah.
buck, so it didn't really even matter either way.
No, it didn't matter to me. I went down there, hunted 2 days, never saw a deer, and this was the first deer that came out on the third day. I looked at you, Trev. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I'm going to kill that thing. So that's
Absolutely.
exactly what I did.
Hell yeah. Way to slay it.
I got the experience of spending that hunt with you and being in the blind with you and being there, and I have it still on film.
Yeah, Trev sent it to me, and I'm like, hell, I'm at work wishing I was there with you guys at the freaking, the land that we hunt, and I'm like, damn, this dude just shot one, and I wanted to meet you guys, I wanted to see that, but Trev got it on video, man. It was an awesome kill.
It was a great hunt. It was a great experience for me. That was the first time I'd ever met you, Trevor. You were humble enough to invite me down and show me, the places that you hunt. And then you and I got to spend some quality time in that raised hunting blind up off the ground. Got to, converse and talk about life and what we like to do, and found out, you and I are very similar. We like doing the same things.
We're fucking savages. We're fucking savages.
Fucking barbarians.
And the neat part was you even got it on film. I've always been an independent hunter. I never had tons of money or ambition to get a camera and try to film myself. And it was just a perfect scenario. You were there. You were able to, get it on your cell phone and shoot a video. It was really, really cool. So. And
I'll tell you what. So for Christmas, I got a new camera. So when you guys come down, I think we're going to do a lot of double sets, having those cameras and stuff. So that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, we'll pair up into teams, and you can actually do a trio set too.
Yeah,
if you have a film
especially
guy.
in the blind.
Yeah,
we got some really good spots for that. I have one question for you, so we don't get lost in conversation here.
Sure.
Now hunting both Connecticut and Maine, what are the pros and cons of hunting each state? Because now you've gone from the tip to here. And what are the pros and cons of hunting that state? Each state.
So I'll start off with my home state of Maine. The pros of hunting up here, we have a lot of swampland, and where that swampland comes into ridges, oak ridges, that's really where I find my deer. Is I hunt those lines where they separate between a ridge and a swamp. It's always paid off for me. It's a really good gamble that those deer are going to be crossing there. That's great for me. Going down to Connecticut, I was a little out of my own.
Ethan, what are the trees that you have that we don't have here that you were trying to look for?
Oh boy, I know the answer to this.
So
the alder trees.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of alders. And when I came down and I spoke to you, you're like, I'm really not sure what you're talking about. An alder tree for us is 3 inches diameter, 12 feet tall. Like the patch behind my house where I live, it goes for about 10 acres. They're only 3 inches in diameter, 12 feet tall, and about a foot apart from one another. That's my deer bedding area. I can guarantee every time I go down there, I can either see a deer or jump a deer out of that. You don't have that down in Connecticut.
So
It's not there.
So what do we have different that's your alder tree that we have here that you don't have up there?
So I mean, other than that, you have basically the same amount of things we do,
except for mountain laurels.
Except for mountain laurels, yes.
Yeah, you have mountain laurels, and the problem is, like, it's not a problem. What I learned down with you is all ridges for the most part. You don't have the low-lying, swampy land, at least where I hunted with you, Trevor.
Right.
I'm sure in parts of Connecticut it's different.
Oh, absolutely. No, there's definitely big low-lying swamps and so on and so forth with side ridges that a lot of people do.
We have a little bit of everything
and
here,
you know
actually.
what? Yeah. It's those areas that Trevor and I talked about that we wouldn't bring you to.
Yeah, I know how this works. I'll remember that if you come up here.
Yeah, same way when we go up there to your neck of the
Don't
woods.
get it twisted. I brought you to one of my best spots, and don't.
and those areas I'm referring to that we hunted, we didn't see shit. So don't act like we didn't bring you to anything special.
And whoa! Not even to go there, Ethan. I heard it all before, man. Trev spit me the same line. This is one of my best spots. Trust me, I heard it all before.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? Trev's like, oh, this is my best spot. When I went on my own down in Connecticut and was like, I'm going to look for my own spot, I actually saw a deer. Imagine that.
Oh!
Thanks, asshole.
Low blow.
Wow, I didn't like that one, Trev.
That's fucked up.
No, that's deer camp though. He's actually joking. You know, it is the deer camp that we come together. The camaraderie. Yes, sorry, can't speak right now. Of deer camp. So this way, it's a brotherhood. And that's what it boils down to.
I mean, just the talks and the time that we spent and cooking food and it was fucking amazing, man. It was like it was like we were all just been friends for 50 fucking years, and we've been doing this every single year for 50
that's what it
years,
seems like.
man. It was like we were best friends and we've been together every single day of our lives. You know, it was great.
Well, also, should we talk about the candlelit dinner that Mark and I had together, or no? We're going to leave that for the back burner.
Wait a minute.
PornStar, what the fuck happened?
No, well, Trevor made a nice dinner with some pasta. We had a ton of ground venison with bacon, all kinds of stuff, and Mark lit a little candlelit dinner at the table for him and I. And we had a little reference to that earlier. If you skip back through the podcast here, the episode, we had a little reference to that, but.
And it's not like we were roughing it. We had a generator with lights.
Oh yeah, we had you guys even brought a hot shower, not to make it even a little more weird, but you guys brought a fucking hot shower.
Yo, where is got it done right now? I'm fucking scared.
Straight to hell. Straight to hell.
I'm fucking scared right now.
So going back to the food and stuff that we ate, we had wild boar. Where the fuck did that come from, Ethan?
So the wild boar came from Texas. My wife and I went down there on a vacation just to go on a pig hunt. It was a great experience. I tell my wife that every year I want to go try to hunt somewhere new, somewhere I've never been before. We don't have children. We both have really decent jobs, and we're able to be able to go do these fun things as far as going on vacations or going hunting or buying the really cool hunting gear and equipment. So, I mean, that meat that we had came right from Texas. That was one that I had killed myself.
That's awesome. So you took that with a rifle, yeah?
Yeah, I took that with a rifle. That was my first time pig hunting. If I was going to do it again, I would definitely bring my bow. I just wasn't sure what to expect when I went. So
what are me and you going to do with a bow this coming season?
So I was telling Trev, we're going to try to apply to get our main draw tag for a moose.
Fuck yeah.
They are hard tag to draw. I've been trying for many years. I've only been successful 1 year on getting a tag. But I'm hoping that Trevor and I can put in and try to get one together. So,
Hey, well, you know what, Ethan? Since you guys doing that, D-Rock and I are both going in on tags for this fucking lottery here, and we're gonna get one done. If you guys get pulled, we're gonna get pulled. If you don't, we're gonna get pulled, and we're gonna get it done.
No, but either way, whoever doesn't get them, we got a perfect set for a cameraman.
We're going either way.
We're going camp too. We can all be in camp together.
All of us are going either way, so
it's going
exactly. No, I mean, I think it'd be a lot of fun. The four of us, the five of us, whoever wants to come, if we can draw a tag, it's a great time.
Yeah, who cares who shoots it?
Guaranteed to see a moose. So
I want to see some moves. I want to, whatever. Stick one, see it, eat it, whatever.
Damn, hey, back off.
Whoa.
Back off.
You guys know I love that game meat. We've had this conversation on the podcast before.
Yeah, you're right. So let's get back. Get back to Ethan, and I'm curious as fuck. How many deer you get this deer season?
I shot 5 deer. And I passed 3 deer that I could have shot as well. I was just holding out for something a little bit bigger.
You even passed one here down in Connecticut.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I passed on the only deer I passed in Connecticut. I passed on a spike horn and another doe. And looking back at it now, I probably should have done it. But in the back of my mind, when that little spike horn came out, he was only 10 yards away. I said, you know what? Next year you're going to be bigger, and I'll be back, and then I'll get you. So,
and you had already shot a spike, so you're being a little bit conservative.
And
I wanted something a little bit better than a spike horn. I mean, it's just too bad for me to kill something that weighs 90 pounds when I didn't need the meat. I'd already killed 4 deer at that point. So,
right on, dude. And
that's very ethical.
And that's something that, again, the modern assassin he says, just fill in the freezer. You know what I'm saying? But you passed on a fucking doe to shoot a spike, and he didn't do that. So, mad props to that. And if you didn't want to take that animal, you didn't want to. And it's great that you did that, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, like I said before, guys, it's really tough. From my hunting aspect and my background is you never pass up a deer, because the deer that you pass up, you may not have that opportunity again.
Especially living up in Maine, right?
Yeah, it's really tough to get a deer here. I mean, put it in retrospect, we have roughly a little over 100,000. We have over 100,000 people purchase a big game hunting license in our state. This year we had 32,000 deer killed. So it's not a great success rate. It's decent, but it's not fantastic.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's a third. That's what, 30%?
Yeah,
30. That's a third. That's a third of the rate of licensed hunters that are actually harvesting deer.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And up here, I mean, that's including rifle season and bow season and muzzleloader. If you're regularly just hunting in rifle or muzzleloader, you can only kill 1 deer up here. And unless you get a draw tag for a doe, you have to kill a buck.
Wow.
So it's pretty tough.
That kills me, because you would think there'd be, like, hella bow hunters up in Maine. That being the fact, like, the only reason, well, I should say the only reason, but the main reason what enticed me initially for bow hunting is the fact that you have such much a longer season. It's like,
that's true.
It just gives you, it's like going to the casino, you know what I mean? Which will be at Mohegan coming up in February for the Outdoor Expo.
Yeah, man. If you're bored, come down and hang and spend the weekend with us right here in Mohegan.
Yeah, we'll get
if you want to come down.
It's a casino, so it's going to be a good time.
Thanks, PornStar.
Hey, if you want to hang out and have a good time, let me know. I'll be there.
Hey,
butthole.
Butthole.
Oh, did you say butthole? Did you say butthole?
Hey, Ethan.
Said butthole on the podcast.
Ethan.
These clowns.
You always got a room and board when you come to Connecticut, especially if you want to come down for the expo. You and your old lady are more than welcome.
That'd be great. And like I said, I mean, you guys are more than welcome anytime up here. Between my house and I've got a camp on a lake, you're more than willing to come up anytime to stay.
I guess you can bring Mark with you.
Yeah, Mark, I guess Mark could come too.
Mark could come. That's only if his wife will let him.
That's only if you want him to ride with you again.
Well, we do need a DH though. We do need a DH, designated driver.
DD.
Well, yeah, but that sounds weird. DH,
Where's the H? You said designated driver. There's no H in there.
Yeah, it's designated
hunter.
Ethan, you notice how many times we're using the safe word right now, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shabine really got to him tonight.
Saturday.
Know what it is? He keeps on saying that all night, and it's because that's why we came up with a safe word. Is because Ryan forgets that we're on podcast land right now. So podcast line. So all right, just explain it real quick. Why he sounds like he's not with us is because we're recording on Saturday, releasing on New Year's Eve. So Ryan,
because you definitely don't want us in the studio on New Year's Eve.
I don't want to bring the mute button into effect because I think you're doing a good job considering.
Do you guys have that mute button?
New Year's.
You
yes,
have
we
a mute
do.
button?
Right, or Trev's got it on standby.
Where's that mute button, Trev? What's that?
Hey man, that's as easy as one click.
We're just messing with you.
But on some real though, Ethan, you guys are more than welcome. Of course, Mark too, and it'd be really cool to really catch up. It's just been too long, man. No homo. I miss you guys. Straight up.
Oh no, it's been a long. It has. I mean, there's a lot of sits and a lot of hunts that go in between. Where I was up here going, man, I wish I could be down hunting with those guys. Especially when it was blistering cold up here and I was in my tree stand. So
I don't think we've cracked like 20 degrees down here, Ethan.
Dude, it's been crazy.
It's not even that bad, man.
Yeah, it's been crazy cold here. 0 to 20 degrees, and then 50 degrees in pouring rain. It's been really strange. So
kind of very similar here. We haven't hit 0 yet. We've been in the low teens, but it's been going the same thing, real low, and then
I don't think we cracked 20.
50 degrees and raining all weekend long, and it's been weird.
A dusting of rain, and a dusting of snow, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a bit of snow. I've already gone snowmobiling up north, so
that's awesome.
Hey, actually, now that we're talking about that, and I love your snowmobile, by the way. I'm a big fan too. Anytime I go sledding, I go up to Maine. Actually, I'm always up at Sinclair.
And D-Rock, you also ride a Polaris, though, don't you?
No, I do not, Ryan.
Oh, come on, you ride one of them skidoo shits also?
I do. It's an old school, but it's all done up.
You got to get on the Polaris game, not them damn skidoos.
Ryan Butthole. But anyways, so back to the subject at hand.
You'll learn.
What states did you hunt this deer season?
So this deer season, I only hunted 2 states: my home state and Connecticut.
Okay.
That's the only states, and I never hunted Connecticut until this year, so that was my new place for the year. So.
Fuck yeah.
So now hunting those areas, what are the strategies that you would use as far as scouting?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Do you use topographical maps? Do you use Google Maps? What do you do? What do you do in scouting between the difference?
So I'll give you an instance. My wife can even contest this one. Last night I was sitting on the couch, she was watching TV, and I'm on Google Maps. That's all I do. I looked for like 3 hours just scoping out new spots in my local area up here. New state lands that I didn't know was owned by the state, and just checking place out like that. I know I'm going to sound old school. I don't really believe in game cameras. I don't put them out. I would much rather be surprised. I go by the physical sign that I see on the ground determines where I hunt. It has nothing to do with what I see on a game camera. So.
That's badass.
That's awesome, man.
Old school as fuck.
So one time when you were down here, you're telling me stories about when you were looking on Google Maps, the place where you take the canoe into. What did you see on there?
That's where I was looking at last night. So from Google Earth, I can literally see the game trails across this cranberry bog. It had to take thousands of years to get these trails like this, and that's what I look for. I look for natural places where the deer are going to funnel from one place to another. So many hunters make the mistake of hunting a spot they imagine an animal to be. I always try to go by hunt where the animals are. You can go to the most beautiful spot and say, there's going to be deer here. That doesn't mean you're going to see diddly squat. Sometimes where I get my animals is the nastiest, crappiest spot you can find, because that's where they are. So
that's badass. And you know what? That brings us to why we really wanted you here on the show today. I mean, we wanted to start the new year off right, so Ethan O'Leary, you made it, man. Not that it's anything special coming from us, but I feel just hunting with you, sharing deer camp with you, and the deer you slayed this year, you killed it, man. You slayed it. You're the East Coast Slayer of the month, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys.
Hey, I mean, I don't know anyone else aside from Garrett Benner that got it last month that would be in that list of the East Coast Slayer of the month. Just getting it done, doing the grind, the work, getting it in, and really trying to live what we all want to live on a day-to-day. You're the working class, East Coast Slayer of the month. I mean, you, my friend, hats off to you.
And not even that, but not only being the East Coast Slayer, but you also work in the call shop sometimes with Mark, right?
Yeah, I'm in the call shop right now, actually.
You're hanging out with Mark right now? Come on.
I know, hard to believe, huh?
I love Mark.
So
yeah, I'd hang out with him every day if I could.
Absolutely. So now, does that make you
Don't say that too loud, Trevor, because I literally do see him every day. It's not what it's cracked up to be.
Hey, you guys make it work, though, you know?
That's right.
It's the marriage outside of marriage.
That's right. That's part of being best friends, and finding somebody that you can enjoy doing things with, especially in the hunting industry. It's amazing the people that you meet, and sometimes it's somebody you would never even imagine, and they become your really good friends, and you learn a lot from one another, and you get to enjoy the things that you both like, the outdoors. It's a fantastic thing, so.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Now, you know what, guys? Is Ethan the first Slayer of the Year in the East Coast Bowhunting? 2019 first Slayer of the Year.
Season 2.
Yep.
Holy.
Season 2, first East Coast Bowhunter Slayer of the Year.
Well, I hope that I have a good year next year, and I can be back on saying the same thing next year to you guys.
That would be badass. And I know you could do it, man. You're a fucking killer, man. For sure, you're a killer.
Congrats to you, Ethan, being the 2019 first East Coast Slayer of the Year.
Hey, I appreciate that. That's fantastic.
PornStar approved.
We appreciate you. PornStar approved. And Shabine approved as well.
Yeah. Shabine's doing all the talking tonight, it feels like. But, yo, Ethan, let's get off subject a little bit and stop talking business. Merry Christmas, man, and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Belated Christmas to you guys, and Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great holiday season, and I really hope that the new year brings many new adventures for all of us together. So
yeah, I think the next thing on the list, I think we're coming to Maine.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what's next.
I think we're coming to hang out with you and Mark in the call shed and
shoot some birds, right?
Shoot some birds or something. We're gonna do something together.
We'll figure it out.
We gotta do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited. I that's definitely the things on the list. We're gonna come and visit you guys in Maine.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see what that hospitality's all about.
That's right.
Hey, Ethan, what is your favorite tool of harvest? Your favorite weapon?
As far as, like, what I like to hunt with?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What do you kill with?
My favorite thing's my bow. It takes a lot of patience and practice to get successful with a bow. Anybody can pick up a rifle and be successful. The skill level is not the same as archery. And I really enjoy getting as close to an animal as I possibly can. I find that is the thrill. It's really like a euphoric high for me just to see how close I can get. So
that's awesome, man. And you, like myself, are very big into the long distance and practicing consistently and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I try to shoot every single night, rain, snow, shine. If I'm not shooting outside behind my house, I've got a 20-yard range in my basement, so I shoot my basement every night.
And not even that, you go down to the pro shop, right? They got a range down there, too?
Yeah, so I'll go to my local bow shop. I'll give a little shout-out to Old Town Archery and Survival. They're a great spot. Awesome guy to deal with. He's got a 20-yard range upstairs, and then he's got a 3D 35-yard range in the basement. And then he has the Techno Hunt, which is a 20-yard digital hunting with your bow. It's great. So I go every time I can.
That's the dart, right?
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's dope.
That is fun.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's great.
You guys seen Joe Rogan's video game that he's got? The interactive
It's the
video
same
game?
thing we shoot. We shoot that with the Ghost Hunter. Trevor and I shot that with the Ghost Hunter this year.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what he's talking about.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that stuff is fun.
We have one right here, 20 minutes away from us.
But Joe Rogan's
it's
got like
fun.
his own. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Oh, in
Like
the
his
house?
own.
Oh, you want one?
No, like his own
Steve-Rock,
brand.
you want one? Let's get one.
For $20,000 to start.
Yeah,
well,
I
let's
was
get
gonna
one.
say, if money was no object, I would have one. Like my local bow shop's like $30,000 for this hunting game, so
Right.
it's not in my realm of budget. So
Well, that's what we strive for.
One day we'll have one in the studio. Don't worry. No.
that'd be awesome.
I'm going to buy someone's old one they're trying to throw away.
Yeah, we'll buy a used one. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That's what I meant.
We'll afford a used one.
15 years from now when they're old technology.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get the old one. It'll be like playing Pokemon.
At deer camp from a generator.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
So, I mean, Ethan, you had a successful season, and if you could give a new or old hunter one tip, what would it be?
Oh, wait. Before we get into
I was
that.
on a roll.
No, because
I'm
that
kidding.
kind of, that's conflict of interest right there. So I want to backtrack, if I may. Is that cool?
Please
All
do.
What are your future goals, Ethan?
My future goals, obviously, for hunting, I really want to get a really nice, mature buck with my bow. I've shot some nice deer with my bow, don't get me wrong, but I haven't shot that giant yet. I'm just still out there trying to get that done. I've had some close calls, but just couldn't seal the deal. So
I get it. So,
Yep.
I mean, what do you see in your near future as far as like the next season to be hunted?
I mean, the next season that I'm going to be hunting for deer.
Whichever to slay.
Do you have a special place that you're trying to go, or you have any hunts in the near future, or other than Connecticut?
So I want to hunt back down in Connecticut. I did get invited to go down to Tennessee to do a bow hunt.
For whitetails?
For whitetails, yep. So I'm toying with that idea. A good friend of mine, his family has a big piece of land down in Tennessee. So I'm thinking about going to do that. And then I would also like to do some more hog hunting. I'd love to shoot a pig with my bow. And I don't care where I go. I would go back to Texas or, down to the Carolinas. That would be fine with me as well.
What months do they normally do that? Or what month did you go?
So in Texas, I went in December, but you can go. It doesn't close. The season's open year round. So
all right. Well, I'm interested. Let's do it.
I'm in if you're in.
I'm in. Let's do it.
You need someone to speak Spanish on that hunt? Because I'm down.
Yes, we do. So
right.
you're in? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Ryan, are you in?
Española.
All right.
Sí,
I guess
sí,
East
sí.
Coast is going to kill hogs.
Sí, senor.
I think we ought to do it.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So, that being said, what Trev was trying to say earlier was this. Ninja tip of the day. Ethan O'Leary, what you got for ninja tip of the day?
So my ninja tip of the day, guys, is when you're walking into your stand, your ground blind, wherever you're going. My biggest success is where I walk. I am just like a ninja when I go into the woods. I don't step on anything that I could step over. No logs, no twigs, no branches. If I don't have to physically step on it, I don't. Be as quiet as possible. Sneak in like a ninja. And slay him like a ninja. So.
Yeah,
I like that
I
answer.
love it, dude.
Spoken like a true ninja.
That is a
Yeah,
ninja.
that's
When
right.
you're an East Coast Slayer, you gotta be a fucking ninja.
Yep. Forest
Yeah,
ninja.
you got to have some serious ninja skill to pull that many off. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome.
So when you were down here, you had an opportunity at a pretty big whitetail.
Oh, I did. I had an opportunity at a nice, I'm going to say 130 class, 8-point.
I think it was like 135 and 3/4. No.
Oh, damn.
Sure.
I have a picture of that buck, actually.
I know. Well, I hope he made it through the season. I hope he's still out there. He may have made it. He may not have. I don't know. So
From the pictures, he looked like a stud, so I'm sure he's still out there.
So what ended up happening? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I was sitting in a funnel, a nice little pinch spot between two big ridges that came down, and I was watching the ridge, and it's a big piece of property. Your head's on 180 degrees left to right, and I looked to one direction, looked the other direction, and when I come back, he was running down the ridge directly in front of me, and I stood up, I grabbed my bow, and as soon as I hooked my release on, he was at 25 yards. I'm assuming he smelled me. My wind was heading direct his direction, right his way. He turned, he made 3 big jumps, and then just kind of trotted up the ridge. It was a little too early for the rut. He was not responsive to any type of bleats or grunts. And I just watched him walk away, just nothing I could do about it. It was a learning experience. But he closed, when I saw him the first time, he was like probably 55, 60 yards. And he closed that distance to 25 yards in a matter of seconds. I didn't even have time really to stand up and get my bow hooked on all the way for him to bust me. So
That's crazy.
And in that same deer, so Ethan actually scouted and put me on a deer in my own state, on my own property. And I went in there.
He's a fucking killer.
I know, man. That's why he's an East Coast Slayer. And I went in there, and that stupid fucking deer did the same thing to you that he did to me, but except he came from my right side. Now, mind you, I'm in the same exact tree. Ethan, he cat-eyed it in, so I would know the area, and that deer did the same thing, but he came off to my right, where that little patch of mountain laurels is right there, Ethan.
Yeah. Yep.
And he come around that, and now he's at 25, and he's to my immediate right, and I'm looking to the left to the low-lying field in the gully, and he come to my right. I thought it was a squirrel, so on and so forth, and there he is, 25 yards, 3 leaps. Now he's at 45, and he's hanging out. Same thing, not responsive. He was now getting into my downwind, and that was it, man. Smart fucking buck, I'll tell you what. Us young guys aren't into getting near them mature ones.
and you know what pisses me off about that is Trevor and I have hunted that same exact ridge line. What'd you say, Trev? 300 yards away?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything. And, we keep hunting that, and I would have taken a poke at that buck at 45 yards there, Trev.
That's where double dropping.
He almost went down the next. He was on that flat behind you, Ethan.
Yeah.
And then he went down. He went down over the ridge to the next flat.
To the next flat in the field.
Yeah, it was almost instantaneously, and there was nothing I could do.
No, and that's a really tough spot to hunt because you're looking at such a big piece of property, and they can disappear on you so fast.
Oh, yes. Because they're like mountain goats.
Yep.
They're like mountain goats.
After I had that encounter with that buck, I spoke to that landowner, and he says, okay, I'll show me on a map. And I said, this is where I was hunting. He goes, my dad had a stand right here. And I'm like, I was literally feet away from his dad's stand. And obviously that's a good spot.
How many deer did he say?
How
many deer did they say they killed out of that spot?
I think he said somewhere north of 30, 40 deer out of just that one stand.
And mature bucks as well.
Mature.
Right? Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, and that's the big thing for me to learn is when I was down there with you guys, I was trying to hunt the lowlands, as low as I could. But once I started getting up on these ridges and finding these mountain laurels and different things, that's where my success got better. I started seeing deer, and it's a learning experience. I mean, I saw that buck and a doe the same night. The doe was like 100 yards out on that ridge. There was nothing I could do. But for me, it was just a little extra to put in my memory bank of, hey, when I come down here again, I'm going to do this instead. And I'm going to try to go up on this ridge or go to this location. It's just a different spots to learn. So
hey, there's no reason. There's a reason why Connecticut's flag has the mountain laurel on its flag. It's a deer hunter state. It really is.
So that's our state plant. Is the mountain
State
laurel.
flower. I
Sorry.
believe it is.
The mountain laurel. But yeah. So talking about that and everything, all the positivity, and we're kind of starting to narrow down shit that kind of grinds your gears or really lights a fire under your ass. What rattles your antlers? Do it up, fellas. Do it up. What rattles your antlers, Ethan? All
right. The biggest thing that rattles my antlers, it does have to do with other hunters, and it has to do with unethical shot placement. I've seen a lot of guys up here in Maine, in different videos online of taking animals and not getting a decent shot, trying to shoot deer in the head, aiming for just the middle of the body. That really grinds me and really rattles my antlers. If it's not a safe, ethical shot that's going to be humane kill, don't do it, guys. Don't waste your time. You don't want to be tracking deer around the mountains all night long. That's really what rattles my antlers.
Excellent, Ethan. I mean, I agree with that. I did a lot of that myself this year.
Unethical hunting?
No, not unethical hunting. No, absolutely. The opposite of that was ethical hunting. Is I had so many opportunities with deer in front of me, and I took this year as such a big learning curve for not only the properties that I've hunted in the past, but the properties that I newly hunt. But was to see in deer and taking those perfect opportunities when you know their heads are down, they're not going to see you. You know they're broadside. You got that great shot. If it's a marginal shot, don't take it. It was a huge learning curve this year. Like Trev said, it was just a great year It was a great year. We didn't harvest a lot, but we learned a lot, and it was just time to go. So,
hey Ryan, I have a question.
Yes.
Did you just say close counter opportunities or opportunities?
I believe I said opportunities. I don't know.
No. I thought I heard opportunities. It was probably just my headphones.
What's the
difference? They glitched a little bit.
Go ahead. I mean, you're also Mexican, so you speak a little different language.
He understands
what's the
backwards.
No. I heard it clearly.
What did you hear, Ethan? Let's get the judge on this.
I'm sorry. I didn't roll my R's. That opportunities.
What'd you hear, Ethan?
But I don't know. But get back to that, D-Rock. But my biggest thing that I can try to tell to other hunters, people that are very experienced, people that may be listening to the show that are first-time hunters, is really take your time, practice. If you don't feel safe or comfortable with that shot, please don't make it. I don't need to be seeing wounded animals running around the woods. I don't need wounded deer running through suburbs and people's backyards. If you're not ready to make that ethical shot and harvest that animal, please don't go out there and do it. It really gives a bad name for all of us. I've talked to many landowners trying to get permission, and no, I had some guy here and he shot a deer and it ran through my yard bleeding with an arrow sticking out of it. And now that landowner doesn't want anybody in there. And like I said, it only takes one person to ruin it for the rest of us. So just to take your time and practice.
Amen to that, brother.
Well spoken.
And on that note, Ethan, stay stepping.
And stay slaying, boys.